Daily Trust News Center. This is the News Hour.
Tonight on News Hour, Nigerians decry non-availability of new Naira note, demand date extension for old currency. President Buhari signs 21.83 trillion Naira 2023 budget into law. PDP reacts as Edwin Clark autumn align with Obasanjo to endorse Peter Obi. And on the international scene, Burkina Faso government launches investigation into discovery of 28 corpses in the northwest over the weekend. Hello and welcome to Trust News Hour. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. Now the news in detail. With less than 1 month to the deadline issued by the Central Bank of Nigeria for the return of the old 200, 500 and 1,000 Naira banknotes following the currency redesign policy, scarcity of the new Naira notes in circulation remains an issue. Some Nigerians are demanding increased awareness on the initiative, especially among market women, rural dwellers, and other categories of Nigerians outside centers. The report.
With the unveiling of the 3 redesigned denominations.
Weeks after the launch and commencement of circulation of the new banknotes by the Central Bank of Nigeria, the existing currencies remain legal tender and are circulating together until January 31st, 2023, when the existing currencies shall cease to be legal tender. There are worries over the unavailability of the new banknotes, especially at commercial banks, automated teller machine points, point-of-sale operators, and generally in the hands of members of the public at large.
I think it's the first of the CBN, because the CBN, as the mother of all banks, if they have given it out to other commercial banks, why not? They will make it available to their customers. I think it's the fault of the CBN.
Nigerians were a kind of, let me say, very eager to have the money, to get them in their hands. But looking at the very poor process of making it available before the hands of people now makes them discouraged.
I've never seen it. I even went to bank today to withdraw money. They just give me the almost. So it's not in circulation. I asked them. They said they don't have the new Naira notes. So they end up giving us the old one.
With the issue of acceptability hampering the circulation of the new notes, the Apex Bank is urged to intensify awareness to enable end users, especially in the rural areas, come to accept and appreciate the new Naira notes.
People need to be properly educated. The level of awareness is poor.
Some people rejected the new Naira, all because they don't even know about it. And they have not even heard that there was any plan of the federal government of introducing new Naira. So the advertisement about the introduction of the new Naira is very, very poor. Sometimes some people see it as a fake Naira. So I think acceptability is very, very poor.
The acceptability now is very poor also. As you know, I heard and I read over the news that many people, especially in the rural areas, are no longer now interested even to have or to collect the money.
So there is more sensitization for the people to accept it, and they have to do something to make sure that it's in circulation. If not, they are going to make some people, they are going to make life difficult for people, more especially in the rural areas.
The January 31st deadline is seen by many as not being feasible. The Senate had earlier passed a resolution asking the Apex Bank to extend the January 31st deadline to June 30, 2023 in order to ensure sufficiency and acceptability of the new notes among Nigerians across board. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
President Muhammadu Buhari has signed the 2023 budget worth 21.83 trillion naira and the 2022 supplementary appropriation bill into law. Speaking on Tuesday at the signing of the 8th and final annual budget of his administration, the president said the aggregate expenditures of 21.83 trillion naira is an increase of 1.32 trillion naira over the initial executive proposal of 20.51 trillion naira. On the other hand, the president explained that the 2022 Supplementary Appropriation Act would enable the administration to respond to the havoc caused by the recent nationwide floods on infrastructure and the agriculture sector. Kendi Amodu reports.
The amended fiscal framework for 2023 budget as approved by the National Assembly shows additional revenues of 765.79 billion naira and an unfunded deficit of 553.46 billion naira. Lawmakers also introduced new projects into the 2023 budget, setting aside 770.72 billion naira for implementation and increasing provisions made by ministries, departments and agencies by 58.55 billion naira. As usual, the President is not comfortable with the changes made to the budget, but as he had done in previous years, he is signing the 2023 appropriation bill into law to enable its implementation, especially in the light of imminent transition process to another democratically elected government.
It is clear that National Assembly and the Executive need to capture some of the proposed additional revenue sources in the fiscal framework. This must be rectified.
The National Assembly was adequately represented at the signing of this budget and is promising to focus in the next 5 months on sourcing revenue for government.
The National Assembly, both chambers, will ensure that we get revenues, we find more sources, better sources, stabilize the sources, and of course look into some of the legislations and some of the waivers and concessions granted to see whether or not they deserve to continue to be implemented in the way and manner they were approved, or we need to reverse them because we need money.
As for the President's requests for a review of some of its adjustments in the budget, it may not be automatic.
In the budget presentation, or rather budget defense, we have ministries, we have departments, we have agencies that come to talk to us. And we look at the reality on ground and what they have before them and whether or not they can actually execute their mandate as per their ministries and departments. It now behoves on the National Assembly.
The President has acknowledged that these are challenging times worldwide and is commending the continuing resilience, understanding and sacrifice of Nigerians in the face of current economic challenges. He has pledged that in the final days of his administration, government will accelerate the implementation of critical measures aimed at further improving the Nigerian business environment, enhancing the welfare of people, and ensuring sustainable economic growth over a medium to long term. From State House, Abuja, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
In politics, elder statesman Edwin Clark has endorsed Peter Obi, Labour Party presidential candidate for the 2023 elections. Clark announced his position at a news briefing in Abuja on Tuesday. The elder statesman based his endorsement of Obi on traits he believes are critical to leading the country. Explaining further, he cited honesty, trust and transparency, all of which he said Obi displayed when he was governor of Anambra State. Clark called on Obi to tackle the issues of the injustices and environmental degradation in the Niger Delta region if elected president. Similarly, Benue State Governor Samuel Ortom has thrown his weight behind the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi in the forthcoming elections. Ortom is one of the 5 aggrieved governors of the People's Democratic Party, known as the G5 or Integrity Group. Others are Nyesom Wike, Rivers, Seyi Makinde, Oyo, Ifeanyi Ukwanyi, Enugu, and Okezie Ikpeazu, Abia. Ortom's special advisor, media and publicity, Teva Akase, in a statement on Tuesday, said the governor strongly recommends Peter Obi to Nigerians as the man who has the capacity to effectively tackle the economic, security, and other challenges facing the country. Reacting to the endorsement of the Labour Party presidential candidate by Chief Edwin Clark, the National Publicity Secretary of the PDP, Debo Ologunaba, said, like anyone else, the elder statesman is entitled to his views as expressed. Ologunaba said every issue will be handled according to its merit, and he said if the party deemed it necessary to react, it will do so appropriately, noting that the PDP is a party of law and order. The Publicity Secretary also denied reports that the Benue State Governor Samuel Ortom also endorsed the Labour Party presidential candidates. Women in the country have been urged to leverage the potentials in their voting strength to make Nigeria better by voting right. This was the highlight of the town hall meeting organized by the Labour Party as part of efforts to harness the strength of all segments of the society to birth a better Nigeria. Mardia Umar has more.
The town hall meeting is organized to celebrate women and propel them to contribute to a better Nigeria by voting right. The woman leader of the Labour Party said women are an integral part of the society and described them as critical halves of the nation.
Chairman Mao said something many centuries ago. He said women hold up half the sky. We hold up half of Nigeria. And today in Labour Party, women are saying we are a critical half. We are an important half. We are a half that can get the votes. We are a half that is going to bring in Peter Obi to our sub leader by the grace of God. And so this morning we are saying we are ready. A time like this beckons us for us women to arise. Let them know that we are ready, that we are able. Our children have been doing the rallies on the streets. We are going to do the grassroots thing.
Wife of the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Margaret Peter Obi, acknowledged the critical role of women to the party's victory, noting that it was imperative for the women to vote right in the upcoming elections.
We are here because we believe that the nation is speeding downhill in the wrong direction. And now it's approaching a cliff into a deep, dark abyss. Together, we must take action to turn the nation around and head it in the right direction. Why then should we be silent? This is why we're making this call to women. You can and must empower the nation to bed forth a new Nigeria.
The presidential candidate of the party, Peter Obi, urged women to embrace the opportunity to make Nigeria work by voting leaders based on commitment, character and trust.
This year's election must be based on character we can trust. Character we can trust. So people can stop stealing our money. It must be based on competence. It must be based on commitment. And like I said, on compassion. I am not running. I don't want you to vote because it's my turn.
The town hall meeting is attended by stakeholders of the party from the 36 states of the Federation. Mardia Umar, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Thank you, Mardia, for that report. The APC gubernatorial candidate of Taraba State, Senator Emmanuel Butcher, said the state is currently standing on the precipice of complete breakdown. Senator Butcher made this known during the inauguration of his campaign council in Jalingo, the Taraba State capital. The gubernatorial candidate said Taraba, which was once a vibrant and prosperous state, has now degenerated to a pitiable level of desolation, deprivation, and hopelessness. He said people have lost their confidence due to poverty and other social ills, adding that a weak and hopeless society cannot accomplish any goal for its people. Nigerians are optimistic that the country will be better if good leaders assume the mantle of leadership as 2023 general elections is fast approaching. Trust TV's Adamu Imam speaks with some residents in Bauchi State who share their optimism and prospects of a better Nigeria as part of their New Year resolutions. The report.
Bauchi State residents are hopeful that they will witness positive changes when a new administration takes over in the next few months. This, they said, will be made possible if the right leaders are voted into power. Daniel Onume, a Bauchi-based payroll consultant, believed that a peaceful conduct of elections will ensure that the economic crisis in the country will be mitigated.
Nigeria is, especially this year 2023, is that we have a system that will help not just even only our pensioners. You know, the cost of living has increased. The cost of living, cost of buying things, cost of fuel and everything has increased. There should be an equivalent increase in what pensioners get, in what government workers get, so that people can live and survive fine in this country.
For Umar Fada, he is hoping to see rapid development in the area of sports, which, according to him, is a potential venture for nation building.
We are praying for our younger generation, especially on my side, sport. We pray that the government will concentrate and look at the younger sport athletes.
While admitting that Nigerians are in trying times, many are hopeful that things will be better off with purposeful leadership across 3 tiers of government.
For God to choose a good leader for us that will lead us well, because we are suffering in Nigeria, so they should clean our tears, and also to think about our children in future, the future of our children.
The good leader that will be our father and our mother, that will help us, not be one that he put us into dustbin. May God help us and may God guide us. Our business is not like before because the money is not flowing.
Because what we are passing through all this while, honestly, is not palatable. But I believe with God, all things are possible. We pray for better Nigeria, good Nigeria for ourselves, because we don't have another home. We don't have another country to run to except this country. And I pray that God will help our leaders to move forward, to know how people feel, to tackle the issues on ground.
According to them, apart from prayers, Nigerian electorates should understand that doing what is right at the right time is key to building a successful nation. Adamu Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
Still in politics, former Minister of Transportation and leader of the All Progressives Congress in Rivers State, Chibuike Rotimi Amechi, has urged his supporters to sensitize and mobilize Rivers residents for victory in 2023 governorship elections. The former minister disclosed this while addressing supporters of the APC in Emuahua local government area of the state. He said 2023 election will not be business as usual for the PDP, urging members of the APC to ensure massive mobilization across the wards of the state to enthrone good governance. He urged his supporters to ensure they vote for all the party's candidates to have the change the people desire. He also urged party supporters to ensure they collect their permanent voter cards to be able to exercise their franchise.
Address education, address poverty alleviation, address health challenges, address roads, not just flyovers. I built 5 flyovers. I built the flyover at right? That's the longest. Okay, well, they don't have the longest one. Obliquity. Come on, proceed. There are so many. The rest assured, if we win, we will serve you. But most importantly, don't sit here. You are not enough vote for us. Go and get people out of their houses to vote for APC. They should do what? That's what I want. So, if we win, we will not address only flyovers. We will address education, we will address health, we will address poverty, we will address power. Just like we did address the power here.
Anything that we have done, APC has done for you before, we will do more. Our leader approved for Trans-Calabar Road. It was approved. They started, they stopped it. We will complete it.
Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has taken a swipe at those accusing him and Governor Samuel Ortom of Benue State of frustrating the micro-zoning of the presidential ticket of the People's Democratic Party to Southeast. Governor Wike said he had always believed and supported concerted efforts towards ensuring that the presidency was zoned to the south. He spoke at Itu Bridge Head venue of the flag-off of the Akbabu Odido Road in Emuahua local government area. The Rivers governor insists that while southern cross-party consultations are going on, there are people in the PDP who are bent on frustrating the eventual zoning of the party's presidential ticket to the south.
Those who oppose zoning the party chairman first, And when the zoning committee was set up, this same Atiku have gone to buy form to frustrate the recommendation of the zoning committee. And that was what happened. When they have bought form, they said, oh, what, there's no need of zoning now. We need to tell people to withdraw. Yes, I know. You don't like culture, no doubt. I know, no problem. I know my way is no problem. But I was the highest, this state gave me the highest support in 2019. Both logistics and food. So it is, I mean, you can't deceive any Nigerian again. All I have stood for is for equity, fairness, and justice. So saying that me and Governor Tom frustrated to do this and considering to start this, will not make people of Southeast not to, they know. They know those who don't want privacy to come here. So saying this will not help.
A fire outbreak on Monday razed down the laboratory section of the Plateau State Specialist Hospital in Jos, the state capital. The incident is said to have occurred as a result of an electrical fault in the laboratory, which affected the circuit box and subsequently led to the inferno. Reports say no life was lost in the incident in the fire, which started at about 2 a.m. A staff of the hospital told journalists that the fire outbreak destroyed several medical equipment and office appliances valued at millions of naira, adding that the incident led to commotion among patients in the hospital. You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up after the break. Defying language barriers to promote unity. Do stay with us.
Daily Trust presents 20th Daily Trust Dialogue. Theme: Interrogating the 2023 Presidential Agenda. Panelists: Professor Jibrin Ibrahim, Professor of Political Science and member of the board of the Center for Democracy and Development, CDD. Dr. Yetunde Anibaba, Lecturer, Analysis of Business Problems, Lagos Business School. Dr. Eugene Enahoro, Human Capacity Development Specialist and CEO, Heltoni Services Limited. Date: Thursday, 25th January 2023. Time: 10 a.m. Venue: NAF Conference Center and Suites, Gwarimpa Expressway, near Next Shopping Mall, Kado, Abuja. For sponsorship and branding participation, contact 081 00 49 1948, 081 65 32 0660, or 080 33 92 8902. The event will be broadcast live on Trust TV.
The first person that probably we meet so far on Nafisat issue is what? It's Abbas. But he maneuvered us.
And the doctor really knew that he kills Abu Bakr. Why does he ask for ransom of 1 million again? We went to go and borrow this money.
I spoke with him, and he confessed to other 2 cases where he kidnapped his victims, killed them, and sold the body to some merchants.
No matter how placed the person is, this issue is beyond just somebody feeling I'm so person. So the community is ever ready.
Now, as part of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening...
Now, looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130...
A Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secured are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the...
Really, if you look at English squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at...
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. You're still watching News Hour on Trust TV. A recap of our top stories. We told you that Nigerians decrying non-availability of new Naira note demand date extension for old currency. We also told you that President Muhammadu Buhari signs 21.83 trillion Naira 2023 budget into law. Moving to more stories, since the return of democracy in 1999, women participation in politics remains insignificant due to cultural and religious factors, especially in conservative societies of northern Nigeria. However, one woman who is not deterred is Hauwa Lawal Jibrin. She's seeking to represent the people of Katsina local government at the State House of Assembly. Abdullahi Yamadi speaks with the aspiring lawmaker in Katsina State.
Hauwa Lawal Jibrin is an outspoken lady whose doggedness earned her respect among the women folk and other political observers. A graduate of health economics from Bayero University, Kano, Hauwa Jibrin was a classroom teacher at Government Day Secondary School Sahara in Katsina Metropolis. Among other reasons why she aspires to get the mandate of the people of Katsina local government to represent them at the State House of Assembly is to make a difference, especially for women and children.
I look at it as a woman. The pain of a woman is only a woman that understands the pain. Apart from that, no one understands. So women are facing a lot of challenges, maritally, socially, and politically. We are facing a lot of challenges. So when I look at the life of our women, we are being left behind. So that was what pushed me or triggered me to say, okay, I'm coming out to contest in this 2023 election.
Many political commentators said the candidature of Hauwa Jibrin is a good omen, especially in a state like Katsina. However, the question many are asking is why Hauwa Jibrin chose to be in a party like ADC, not big parties like APC and PDP, the two dominant players in Katsina politics. Another question is what are her chances being a woman in a conservative society like Katsina?
So looking at the situation, the things we are now, I think that ideology that we are from the north, a woman is not supposed to participate in politics. We're supposed to bring that ideology to an end by now. Looking at the education we have in Katsina, at least we can change that ideology.
The chances of my party is very bright. We know that how the destruction of the country started, the same actors, because you cannot differentiate between PDP and APC.
Most of her followers believed in her capacity, competence, and credibility to represent them at Katsina State House of Assembly.
The entire women in Katsina local government are supporting Hauwa Jibrin to bring about changes, especially in the areas of improving the lots of women and children. Hauwa, nicknamed Yagata, will be voted massively by the entire women in Katsina local government to represent us at the State Assembly.
What many want to see is how her male counterparts from other political parties will slug it out with Hauwa Lawal Jibrin, who is the only female candidate in the political arena in Katsina State in the upcoming elections. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Moving to security, 5 suspected kidnappers have been killed and 15 others arrested during a joint security operation in Taraba State. The operation, which involved the Army, police and vigilante, took place in Sardauna, Bali and Gasol local government areas of Taraba State. Reports say the kidnappers have terrorized parts of the state and killed several people after collecting ransom. Activities of kidnappers and other bandits prompted the joint operation across some local government areas in an effort to flush the criminal elements out of the areas. Police spokesman in Taraba State, DSP Usman Abdullahi, who confirmed the killing and arrest of the suspected kidnappers, said some of them have been charged to court. Gunmen in the early hours of Sunday stormed Paze, a community around the Biazing area of the outskirts of Kubwa town in the FCT, and abducted 4 people. Reports say 4 heads of families were separately abducted from their homes, but their wives and other members were spared. A housewife, Juliet Olarinwaju, whose husband was among those abducted, said she was on her way from church with her husband after attending the New Year's crossover night when the incident happened. Joy Daniel, another housewife in the area, also narrated how gunmen broke into their compound and dragged them out, collected their money, foodstuff, and mobile phones. She said her husband, Daniel Audu, along with 2 other heads of families, namely Solomon Ayongo and another identified as Jerry in the neighborhood, were abducted.
I've not heard from, because they went with my phone, so there is no means of him even calling or if he wants to talk to me. So I didn't hear from him, but it's my mother-in-law that I called. So he told me that they have already called him, that they called her rather. They called her yesterday.
Okay. They later came back with me and they asked me if there's any money in the room again. I said no. So one of the boys, they slapped me and one used cutlass to wipe my hand. If not that I'm wearing this long sleeve, you can even see. So this cutlass to wipe my hand.
Still on security, gunmen on Monday night razed the Afoata Divisional Police Headquarters in the Njaba local government area of Imo State. This came a few hours after a convoy of a former governor of the state, Ikedio Hakim, was attacked with 4 of his police orderlies killed. Reports say the attackers got to the police station and threw explosives into the facility, leaving it burnt afterwards. No policeman was on duty when the attackers struck. The same police station was in June 2021 vandalized after 2 courts besides it were burnt. The spokesperson for the police in the state, Michael Abatam, had yet to issue a statement concerning the incident. Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma on Tuesday met President Muhammadu Buhari behind closed doors at the presidential villa, where both men deliberated on critical infrastructure that would boost security in the state. The visit is coming barely a few hours after a former governor of the southeast state, Ikedio Hakim, escaped an assassination attempt in Mbano. The attack led to the death of 4 police officers who were in the convoy of the ex-governor. Tuesday's meeting afforded Uzodinma an opportunity to secure presidential approval for advanced security surveillance equipment for the state. Kehinde Amodu reports.
The second working day in the new year, and the Imo State Governor is on the corridors of State House Abuja again to meet with President Buhari. The various incidents of insecurity in Imo State has made the Imo State Governor a frequent visitor to the presidential villa, and these visits have, by his admission, yielded results.
The approval to convert Federal Medical Center Owerri to a university teaching hospital for the Federal University of Technology. The approval that converted College of Avanico College of Education to a Federal University of Education. Only 2 weeks ago, Igbos that came home from Lagos and outside Southeast enjoyed the benefits of the second Niger Bridge, something that is worthy of commendation.
But security seems to elude Imo State despite efforts by the governor due to the activities of armed gangs that have terrorized communities in the southeastern state. Only on Tuesday, former governor of the state, Ikedio Hakim, narrowly escaped assassination. But 4 policemen in his convoy were not so lucky and paid the supreme price. Governor Uzodinma's meeting with the president has yielded more approvals to tighten security.
any moment from now, we will be getting some surveillance equipments and some modern technologies that will help us manage security so that we can fight crime with little or no collateral damage.
Despite the upheavals, the governor insists that the ruling All Progressives Congress is the party to beat in the state.
Those who are fighting me in Imo State, none of them, they are not saying we're not working. They're not saying we're not developing the place. They're not accusing us of any corruption. All they're saying is they are contriving, instigating insecurity out of desperation, and then blaming the insecurity on a government. You have seen, I'm a subnational. The critical security measures are managed and controlled by federal government. So I cannot be blamed for insecurity because you cannot single out Imo State.
Imo State has enjoyed tremendous support from the presidency following the Supreme Court verdict that brought Governor Uzodinma into office. But the security challenges suffered by the state seem to overshadow all, despite the spirited efforts of the governor to bring things under control. And though his people are not blaming him, his words on the matter speaks volumes. From State House, Abuja, Kehinde Amudu, Trust TV News.
Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke on Tuesday received the report of State Committee on Chieftaincy Matters and pledged to follow due process in the selection and appointment of traditional rulers. It will be recalled that the governor, upon his inauguration on November 27, suspended some traditional rulers appointed by the former governor, Adeboyega Oyetola, due to alleged non-compliance with due process. Receiving the report from the chairman of the committee, Bumi Jenyo, the governor debunked allegations that his decisions were intended to witch hunt some people. Adeleke promised to be God-fearing in implementing the recommendations of the committee in the interest of peace and tranquility in the state.
Like I said, we're going to rule with the fear of God. We're not here to witch hunt anybody. We just want to make sure that Osun State is different from other states. That under my leadership, we will make sure that we have rule of law. We will make sure that we have due process. Anywhere there's no due process or rule of law, it's not going to be acceptable. That's it. So if anybody wants to say that we want to witch hunt, well, there's nothing we can do about that. But once we follow rule of law, once we follow due process, my mind will be at rest. And the mind of the committee will be at rest. I can assure you, we're going to take a look at it, and all the recommendations will be utilized. I thank you so much. And continue to bless you.
Nigeria has hundreds of languages, making it one of the most diverse nations across the globe. Interethnic marriage is a factor that strengthens the country's diversity, creating mixed families bearing different cultural and ethnic affiliations. Trust TV's Ibrahim Ismail meets a couple who defy language barrier to maintain their relationship over the years.
This is Maduako Austin Onoha and Juliet Austin Onoha, in their 40s, married 19 years ago, defying all the misgivings about interethnic marriages. Maduako is an Igbo man from Abia State, while his wife Juliet is a Tulo by tribe. She hails from Benue State in northern Nigeria. Despite coming from different ethnic backgrounds, the two lovebirds are brought together by interethnic marriage.
What brought us together is marriage. And that marriage is rooted by love. We first of all love ourselves as individuals, as persons, and one further, God instituted the union and perfected it through marriage sacrament. I'm an Anglican communion. She's a Catholic while I met her. But because of the institution of marriage, we came and became one flesh. So we are one in the result of the marriage, and we are still bonding till now.
I met my husband like any other person. I don't need to go deep and tell you how we met. But meeting me is not a mistake. 19 years of journey is not a mistake, because we met just like usual people. We started the courtship. Before you know, because of the love that binds us together, and because God is destined that two of us will be together, we got married.
The couple have gone through difficulties before breaking the jinx of language barrier, turning their diversity to strength.
It's numerous. There's countless challenges, of course, now. Definitely, when you're coming from a different background, from Igbo extraction, Southeast, that we are always thought to be a gold digger, or people see us as people that are just coming to exploit opportunities.
Thank God there is an English that is a general language. You know, you marry somebody that is not your language. How do you people communicate? It's the only language that you people understand, the two people that you people will communicate.
The family has 4 children: Prosper, Chibozo, Praise, Chidera, Pascal, Chukuma, and Paul Chinedu. They can now speak their father's language, Igbo.
Aham Prosper Chibozo, and we learned it from our father. He used to speak it to us, like if he wants us to give him water after he's eating. Daddy Salah Chisa. Language is easy to learn, and it is pleasant to the ears.
Although some have misgivings about interethnic marriage, but the Maduku, Austin Onoha family finds solace in the practice, making them one of the happiest families in Gombe State. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
Ibrahim Ismail there. Now moving on to more stories, the pressure of meeting daily needs, especially financially, can affect one's mental health. With the just ended Yuletide, where many were obligated to meet certain financial needs, it is not unexpected that the effect of such spendings will lead to mental health challenges if not properly handled. In this report, Noel Sampson looks at how the New Year expenditure affects the mental health of those dwelling in urban areas. The report.
Compared to rural residents, researchers have found out that urbanites are 21% more likely to have anxiety disorders and 39% more likely to have mood disorders. A 2017 meta-analysis also found out that the rates of the following mental health conditions were higher among those living in urban areas.
People want to keep up with other people, 1. They want to change things around them, 2. They want to have a new feel. Probably they thought, oh, this room, let me change the color so that I can give me new feel, which can actually give people new feel. If you change the color of your house, it gives a new feel. If you rearrange, it gives a new feel. But the expenditure now comes in what exactly you want to do. So what I will advise people to do is to try and do what is necessary. Some things might not be very necessary. You might just want to do it because others are doing it and you like it. If you like it, does your pocket support your liking it?
Despite the pressure coming from urban areas, coping mechanisms are also available for those affected.
People should plan themselves, check their values. I'm not mentioning values again and again because values drives us. People don't fight, it's their value that clashes. So I will not have problem with the society if our values do not clash. But I can adjust my values to make me a better person in the society where I am. So it flows between individual and individuals. But coping mechanism generally is your ability to adapt in that situation for as long as it takes.
Some urban dwellers admit that living in the city predisposes one to certain pressures that comes with the metropolitan livelihood.
Starting in Abuja is something, it's just too difficult. Well, the only thing I see in Abuja is that for you to start in Abuja, you just have to have somebody that will be backing you up. But for you to just come from the rural areas to the urban area like Abuja, sincerely, it's not easy.
A lot of people in the village expect more from you, but there's just nothing you can do because things are very difficult here. So you just have to tell them the truth because you cannot just kill yourself according to what is happening here. If you're actually like me, if you ask me something and I don't have it, definitely I'll tell you the truth. Because me, I cannot kill myself. And me, I'm even planning to go back. That's just the truth.
Mental health disorders appears to be a growing problem in modern societies, specifically in urban areas. According to the World Health Organization, depression affects around 246 million people and is one of the main causes of disability worldwide. Well, something. Trust TV News, Abuja.
You're still watching News Hour on Trust TV. More stories after the break.
Nigerians, elections are here again. Let us shun violence. Let us play the game according to the rules. Do not be a thug. Say no to violence. Let's rise and defeat violence, crime, and sabotage against the peace of our nation. Nigeria is the only country we have. We must do everything to keep it united. We must avoid any act that promotes hate and disintegration. Say no to separatist movement, terrorism, fake news, hate speech, religious bigotry, and any act that tends to divide us as a nation. Watch out for strange gatherings and suspicious movements. Restrict access to sensitive documents and data, the disclosure of which may damage national security. Educate your staff and family, particularly on measures to safeguard information and report security breaches. Apply relevant legal security guidelines to protect yourself and your neighbors. Due to misinformation and wrong choices, some idle persons resort to vices in their greed to get rich quick. They resort to kidnapping, killings for rituals, and other heinous crimes. Avoid wrong use of the social media. Before you broadcast that false message, think twice. Ask whether it will promote peace or violence. For safety at home, still be security conscious. Educate your household on safety tips. Report all suspicious movements and persons to the security agencies nearest to you. Be a good citizen. Be patriotic. To pass security information, please call 0813-222-2105, 0915-339-1309, 0908-837-3514, or send a mail to dsspr@dss.gov.ng. This message is from the Department of State Services, DSS.
Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back. Let's now join Chiamaka Nwafo for business news.
The Central Bank of Nigeria says the use of cash will naturally slow by 2025.
In its Payments Visions 2025 document, the CBN said by 2025, Nigeria aspires to have a cashless and efficient electronic payment system infrastructure that facilitates financial services in all sectors of the economy. It also noted that it intends to provide secured, reliable, and user-centric financial solutions in compliance with international standards. According to the CBN document obtained from its website, the Nigerian payments landscape has many options that have displaced cash in recent times, including electronic bill payment, mobile phone top-up, and mobile and instant payments. Minister of Mining and Steel Development, Leko Adigbite, has emphasized the need to de-risk the mining sector to attract local and international investors. He explained that mining is a very risky venture, hence the government needs to de-risk that sector by investing in its own money into exploration and acquisition of data that will drive people to the sector. Adigbite, who spoke on Tuesday in Abuja, however, added that a huge step is already being taken by President Muhammadu Buhari, especially in 2017. According to Adigbite, the mining industry contributes a giant leap to the GDP compared to what it remitted in the past. And in stocks, the Nigerian equity market closed the first trading day of the year on bullish note, growing further to 7 straight sessions as the all-share index was up by 0.67% to settle at 51,595.66 points. Investors gained 188 billion naira, while the market capitalization climbed by 0.67% to close at 28.103 trillion naira from the previous close of 27.915 trillion naira. The market broke loose positive as 23 equities appreciated in their share prices against 11 that declined. An aggregate of 321.7 million units of shares was traded in 4,112 deals valued at 4.35 billion naira. And that's it on Business News. I am Chiamaka Nwafo. President Muhammadu Buhari has assured that Nigeria will support the Republic of Burundi in areas of need in the spirit of African solidarity and brotherliness. The president gave the assurance Tuesday at the State House Abuja while receiving the special envoy of President Evariste Ndayishimiye, who came with a message. On request for assistance in the area of energy provision, particularly fueled by the Burundi leader, President Buhari said he knows what it feels like for a country to suffer from energy shortage and promised that he would get the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited to look into the request. The president, in a statement issued by his spokesman Femi Adesina, said he's looking forward to the polls and retirement since he had satisfied the constitutionally required 2 terms in office. The Minister of Finance, Budget and Economic Planning of Burundi, Odashi Niyonzima, while delivering his president's message to Nigerians and President Buhari, prayed that Nigeria's 2023 polls would be peaceful and successful so that Nigeria would maintain her reputation as a bastion of peace and stability. On the international scene, the government of Burkina Faso says it has launched an investigation into the discovery of 28 bodies in northwest of the country over the weekend, noting it will uncover the circumstances around the tragedy and to establish all responsibilities. Attacks targeting the security forces and civilians have increased in recent months, especially in northern and eastern regions bordering Mali and Niger, which are also battling jihadists. The Collective of Communities Against Impunity and Stigmatization organization denounced the violence as reprisals targeting civilians by armed civilians claiming to be members of the VDP auxiliary force who freely engage in organized looting and targeted abuses of civilian population. Burkina Faso, one of the world's poorest countries, has already seen 2 coups by disgruntled army officers in 2022 that have put the military in power. Since 2015, the West African country has been grappling with an insurgency led by jihadists affiliated with Al-Qaeda and Islamic State group, which has killed tens of thousands and displaced around 2 million people. Up next is Adeni Ajishafe with sports news.
Ahead of Paris 2024 Olympic Games, African Shooting Federation has given Tunisia the hosting right for the continental qualifiers. The North African country hosted the 15th edition of the African Shooting Championship for rifle and pistol 10 meters, which took place at the Federal Hall in Benin Khalid in December 2022. Tunisia is known for having one of the best facilities for the shooting event in Africa. And in volleyball, President of Nigerian Volleyball Federation, Musa Nimrod, says the federation's aspiration for year 2023 is to make a meaningful impact at international championships, as well as qualify for the Paris 2024 Olympics. Nimrod said Nigerian volleyball could achieve the desired goals if major stakeholders were committed to the same cause. The country's volleyball teams recorded some continental achievement in 2022, but Nimrod believes that they can do better in 2023. Nimrod calls for sponsorship and support, as well as seeking partnership and MOUs with corporate organizations that wish to key into the sport as part of their corporate social responsibility to the Nigerian youth to do so. The NVBF president hoped to get Nigeria to important continental competition as well as global competitions such as 2023 African Games, 2023 African Youth Games, and Federation of International Volleyball FIVB Under-19 Boys World Youth Championship, as well as series of beach volleyball events, which will climax with 2024 Olympic qualifiers, of which Nigeria have registered to participate. In 2022, NVBF had National Division II Volleyball League and the Beach Volleyball Tour, with another category to be created in 2023 for new entrants into the tour. The aim is to spread the opportunities of the game to all levels. That's Sport News. I am Adeni Ajishafe.
And with that, we've come to the end of News Hour on Trust TV. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. Thanks for watching.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.